I'm a recent fine arts graduate, and well, today's story is about my evil aunt. She knows how terrified of pigs I am, but that didn't stop her from doing this to me, which involves a pig. My aunt is a she-devil. She's mean, repulsive, heartless, and everything in this world that can make her look bad. Like real bad. I can't be angrier or more afraid than I am right now. The fear is actually wearing off as anger has come to overwhelm that emotion. I'm writing this because I want to share something horrible that my aunt did to me. However, I'm not sure whether she did it consciously or not. I mean, I have an idea, though you're welcome to speculate whether my aunt's actually good or bad to me. She pretends to be the former, or at least she's always been the rude one since the bloody moment I was brought into this world. Let me calm down. Let me stop this gibberish first before I take you into the background of what a horrendous thing my aunt did to me yesterday. Hey guys, I'm Anna, 19 female, and I've recently completed my graduation in fine arts from, guess where? Oxford. If there's one thing that I'm afraid of the most in this world, it's pigs. Yeah, pigs. They freak me the heck out and leave a chill in my bones whenever I look at them on a video. Because seeing them in real life would actually give me a panic attack, and trust me, I'm not lying. I come from a middle-class family. My parents own a farm in the countryside as I have roots there. We have a pigsty, a stable, and a poultry house on our farm. It's quite huge and beautiful. I know you might, think that when we have pigs, then how come I have a fear of pigs? Well, it wasn't as if I was born with this kind of phobia. Rather, I developed it later, after a terrible experience. I just remember being 8 or 9 years old. My younger brother Billy, who must have been 4 or 5 at the time, had a severe fever. My mom Matilda, my father Kevin, took him to the hospital and I was left at home with my nanny. I was a mischievous kid. So whenever I was left alone with my nanny, I would try to do anything to escape her grasp of eyes. That day, I snuck out to play with the chickens in the poultry, and by mistake I left the door open and some of the chickens snuck out. I was running behind them, chasing, playing, and laughing, and things took a nasty turn when I fell into the pigsty. I was chasing the chickens when one of them slipped near the pigsty, and I can't say I was very fond of pigs even at that time. But at least I did not have pig phobia. Duh. So as I was running after the chicken, I slipped and stumbled. I don't quite remember which came first, but I found myself laying face down covered in the pigsty mud. While most of the pigs seemed surprised and just moved away, a massively built pig came near me. I realized it was probably nudging or nibbling, but I definitely feared the moment it came close to me. I felt like it was almost about to attack me for some reason. I panicked and started to cry, and on top of that, I was screaming as loud as my lungs could go. My nanny rescued me, and I don't remember how things went after that, but I never went near a pigsty or a pig again. I even hate those Peppa Pig stickers, because they remind me of the incident. So I do fear pigs, and I can never think of holding one in my hand, because whenever I see them, I panic, and in panic, I might end up harming them. I don't want to do that, So taking them in as a pet is a flight of fancy. Now, how would you feel when someone doesn't even care about your fear and still goes on to give you something that you're afraid of? You'd be angry, right, and afraid, and numb at the same time. Well, it happened when my aunt gifted me something she should not have. As I told you, I'd been living with my parents since we moved to the city a decade or so ago. My mom found a job in the company that she got rejected twice from. So Dad compromised with his own job and got us moved here. I've always been passionate about art and stuff, so I got into Oxford so I could achieve my dream of becoming an artist of the fine arts. I returned home just a week ago. My parents decided to throw a party to celebrate my success, even if it's only the first step I've taken towards my career. Although, my party, I don't mean a big or extravagant celebration, no. The venue was my house itself. We didn't have many friends or relatives, so it was an intimate celebration. I received gifts and everything was just perfect, but yes, there's a but after every happy thing that you can expect. Well, something's going to ruin your mood in a few seconds. Most everybody had left by the time my Aunt Sally, Uncle Marshall, and my cousin Tia arrived. They told us that they were running late, and my aunt had brought this huge box. The box was beautifully wrapped with 2 big holes left open on one side of it, It was written pet on top of the box. I could literally feel ticklish in my guts, expecting some handsome white dog or something, but my aunt said that she brought me the most unique gift that I would love. She said that since I've always wanted to have a pet, she's brought one for me. I was delighted and extremely excited to open the box. She handed it to me, and since it was heavy, I put it down. I knew there would be an animal, either a dog or a cat inside. My mom asked what was inside the box, but my aunt said that she would not tell, as she wanted to see the expression on my face when I opened it. I opened up that box and I froze. I froze at the sight of what I saw. It was a piglet. As soon as the box was opened, it started jumping, and what was foolish of me the most? I could not even guess the animal from the low noise it was making inside the box. The sound was faint, but hey, it was there. I was terrified to look at it. I felt my body going numb, and my brain was simply shutting down. I couldn't move, and all I could think was, somebody, please help me. I wanted to run away from there, and as soon as I gained strength in my feet, I ran upstairs. I went inside my room and locked the door. I was afraid so much that my whole face had turned pale and my body was damp with sweat. As soon as I locked the door, I sat near it. I heard my parents asking my aunt what the meaning of this was. Why would she bring a piglet? Well, knowing that I was afraid of pigs. The other voice I heard was that of my uncle. He was reprimanding my aunt, asking her the reason behind gifting a pig at a celebration party, and that too, knowing I had a fear of pigs. My aunt said that this knowledge completely slipped through her head, and she brought a piglet thinking that I would raise it and keep it on the farm once it grew up. I wasn't thinking straight, so nothing mattered to me at the moment since I was still relieving myself of the after effects of total numbness. But the atmosphere in the hall downstairs was quite harsh and heated up. Even when my parents had gone quiet after a while, my Uncle Marshall still did not stop. He simply went on and on, asking my Aunt Sally why she had not discussed it with him earlier. His point was simple. My aunt should have told my uncle about the gift that she was giving to me, but she kept it a secret from my uncle as well, and my aunt was irritated by him. So she yelled once, and she said that it was none of his business and that she was a grown-up who did not need her husband's opinion on the gift that she wanted to give her niece. My aunt lashed out at her husband just because he did not take her side. My cousin Tia asked her mother how she forgot an important thing like that, and my aunt said that there's no need for even her daughter to corner her mother. She spoke to my dad, saying she really forgot about the phobia, and it could literally give me a panic attack at any moment. I heard footsteps as my mom arrived to look after me. My aunt soon followed, and I did not even want to see her face. I didn't want her to enter my room, but I was too helpless to express my anger and sadness. My mom hugged me for a second, and my aunt said that she'd made up for it. She promised to bring a pet cat for me, and guess what? She really stopped by my house and handed my parents another box, because I was too skeptical to be around her when she came. And she left the pet cat. I know what you must be thinking. Why is she so exaggerating on her emotions? Well, you would not understand unless you've gone through something similar. See, I'm afraid of pigs. And that's a sin my aunt committed, period. I doubt my aunt would ever forget anything about my fear of pigs because it was she who used that fear to compare me with her daughter a lot in the past. It only stopped when I went to Oxford and left the country for a few years. I bet she's jealous or something. I may be wrong, but I have a gut feeling too, I'm somebody who believes in revenge. And since my aunt seriously ducked up my celebration, I'm going to do the same with her. Just wait for my next update. Top comments from the original post. Comment number 1 says, "Hey OP, I feel you. Your aunt's actions are absolutely outrageous. It's clear that she either has zero empathy or is intentionally trying to torment you. The fact that she gifted you a piglet, despite knowing your fear, is beyond cruel. And then to lash out at her husband and daughter when confronted about her thoughtless act, that's a new level of audacity. Your anger and frustration are completely justified. I understand how hurtful and frustrating this situation is for you. It's not easy to simply get over a fear, especially when it's rooted in a traumatic experience like yours." Comment number 2. Get over it, Anna. Your aunt made a mistake, big whoop. It's not like she killed your dog or something. Just forgive her and move on. You're being such a drama queen. I mean, come on, it's a baby piglet. It's not like she gave you a tarantula or a venomous snake. Anyways, apologize is what she did she not? So what's the big deal? Updates. Number 1. I have both good and bad news to share with everybody. The good news is that I was able to execute my plan of revenge. But the bad news is that, it backfired. Let me take you down the road of this update because I'm going to share with you how things took a really nasty turn just a week ago. Hey, I'm back after a whole month to give you the update, guys. Let me go ahead and tell you about the revenge that I had been planning first. Since my aunt gifted me a piglet regardless of the fact that she knew I was afraid of them or not, I decided to unleash a big snake in her yard. My aunt is afraid of snakes. The big one or the short one doesn't really matter because she just goes numb and turns pale if she sees one just like me when I see a pig. My aunt had invited my family for lunch today, and I have a friend who is very tactical with things. He knows how to get things done. I asked if he could just find a snake and help me release it in my aunt's garden. I wanted her to turn pale, and I wanted to see the expression on her face. In the morning, I received a call from him. He told me that he arranged a snake somehow, and it may not be that big, but it's still going to create some impact. Well, I asked him to arrive on time and wait for my signal. I was so excited and looking forward to the day, and I was getting ready for lunch with a grin on my face. My aunt's house was big and nice, and it had a huge garden in the front. She had prepared a feast in the garden itself, and when we arrived, my aunt was already fainting. My uncle was trying to wake her up, and Tia was pacing towards her mom with a glass of water. My parents inquired about what happened while I stood there enjoying the moment of victory. We were told that she fainted after seeing a snake. My uncle said she turned pale after she saw the snake crawling her direction. The snake was nowhere to be found, but Tia had also seen the snake that she mentioned, and I knew that the snake would be caught soon as we took my aunt inside. So, I asked my friend to be on standby for that too. While everybody expressed their concern for my aunt, I was smiling on the inside. But this update does not end here. I have horrible event to share too. We returned home early as the lunch postponed. My aunt went to her bedroom to rest, and the very next day I received a parcel. It was again a box, but smaller in size, and I was curious to open the box since I thought it must have been things that I ordered from Amazon. I opened up the box, and I can't say I'm not shuddering at the thought of what was inside. As I'm telling you that, there was a stuffed pig toy, and so many Papa Pig stickers. And pictures of big wild pigs in the box. The next thing I did was scream. My parents and my brother came running upstairs as soon as they heard my voice, and my dad caught me in his arms and asked me, "What's wrong?" I was in panic mode, so I could not utter anything except pigs. He took them away, and I released a sigh of relief. Dad returned with a note in his hand, and he said it was inside the box, and it said, "You deserve it, you pig. I know it was you." It evoked a feeling of horror in me, and I think it was the same for my parents, as I could tell from the look on their face, and Billy uttered, Do you think it was Aunt Sally?" My mom and dad looked at him in amazement, and they rebuked him for thinking like that since they mentioned how kind she was to give me a cat after apologizing to me after the Piglet incident. I asked if we could just seek help from the police, and Dad said that he'd first ask my aunt. It showed me that even though he rebuked Billy for suspecting Aunt Sally, my dad had the same suspicion. Even if he wasn't ready to believe it, Dad said that we should go to our farm in the countryside. He thought that it would be good for me to be away from the trouble and stress. I don't know what to think now. I don't know whether it was really my aunt, because she really gave me the cat and did not bother me after that. I can't believe my own instincts now. All I can think about is how to get back at her. Billy told me that he also thinks it was Aunt Sally who sent the box. He also sensed a certain dislike for her. Billy said that he'd help me with whatever I wanted to do about the situation. Well, I didn't want to, but I told him about my plan. He laughed and then appreciated me for really not backing down. He and I planned something. but I won't spoil it for you before it happens, so you must wait for the next update. Update number 2. It's been a week already since I've last updated you, and we've arrived in the countryside. Billy and I have been planning something, and I've already told you about my farm in the countryside, but I never told you that my aunt and uncle also have their house adjacent to our house there. Instead of asking my aunt bluntly about the stuffed toy incident, my dad asked my aunt family to have a talk once they arrived here too. Billy and I found it to be the perfect opportunity just to execute the plan. I could not wait for my dad to ask my aunt and see her lying on her face, because I knew in my heart that she was the one messing with my life. Ever since I've became scared of pigs, my parents stopped keeping them. My aunt also did not have a pig, as she only kept poultry, but hey, it was hard to find the mud of the pigsty that Bill and I were looking for, but we found it. I simply looked at Billy as he was the one who did everything else. He collected the mud from the pigsty on the neighbor's farm and kept it in our storage room. It reeked of all hell, honestly. I didn't help him to do that because going near the pigs was out of question for me. I could not even look at them. Not to mention that pigs and pigsties are mostly by, well, the big ones. I'll tell you what we did with all the mud that we collected, though. We found the right day, which is today, when my dad and uncle have gone out and when mom is at home, but she had gone to bed to take a nap in the afternoon. Tia has not come with her mom and dad, and she stayed behind because of an interview. I knew my aunt's habit of taking a nap in the afternoon, just like mom, so we thought it was a great chance to literally spread the mud in front of her door, ring the bell, and wait for the moment that she opened the door. Billy and I followed suit with the plan, and after littering the mud outside the main door, I rang the bell, and Billy and I mixed slime with the mud to make sure my aunt slipped. My aunt opened up the door, and she looked forward as she took another step. She landed right on her butt, and I know it must have hurt. She was constantly calling for help, and it's cruel, but Billy and I could not stop laughing. There was a neighbor who heard her cry and came to help her out, and after Billy and I returned home, we went straight to bed. I know my mom was called by another neighbor about an hour ago, as she has gone to see what happened to my aunt. I didn't want to go to that extent, but she left me no choice for this time, and because of her, I had a panic attack twice within a month. Well, I hear it as if my dad's calling me right now. He seems really angry. I must go check and see what he wants and what's the matter. Guys, I will update you again. Update number 3. Hey guys, I dread this moment as I'm writing this update because I've never expected to feel this disgusted in my heart. I know how many of you have criticized me for what I did to my aunt. I may agree with you with what you have to say about me being cruel. I'll take that criticism not because I took revenge, but because I took revenge on the wrong person. I've been telling you how my aunt has been the one playing games with me, but the real culprit is somebody else. Let me get right into the gist of it, how I got to know about that. In the last update, I told you how an hour or so later my dad started shouting Billy and my name after the mud incident. I was taken back because it felt like a roar of angry lions. I went downstairs to see what the commotion was about. Dad was followed by my uncle, aunt, and Tia, and I was surprised to see Tia. My dad came closer as if to hit me, but he was only going to show me something on the phone. It was the video of me and Billy emptying a medium-sized barrel of mud outside my aunt's door. I found my heart thumping loudly in my ear because of fear. My dad asked me the reason for what we did, and I didn't want to tell him, so I lied and said it was just a prank. Billy, who had also arrived in the hall by then, stayed quiet. He must have been as scared as I was. My dad did not believe me and said it could have actually literally hurt my aunt badly. I had tears in my eyes. I finally shouted that the aunt has also done enough to hurt me. She caused me to have panic attacks twice this month, and she first gave me the Piglet and then the stuffed toy. Knowing my phobia, she intentionally tried to cause trauma, and nobody was asking about that. Surprisingly, my mom took my side and just mentioned how terrible it was for me to sleep that day after I received both presents. I'd forgotten, but Mom also mentioned the note that was left inside the second box. It was Tia, who asked my mom whether it was okay to talk about that when we were in the midst of finding out whether I was guilty of hurting my aunt. I was shocked to hear those words coming out of Tia's mouth. You know, Tia had been a great sister. She was always nice to me. It was my aunt who always belittled me for not being good at studying, as she would constantly compare me with Tia. I was always passionate about art, and it was my art that got me into Oxford. My aunt was completely shocked when she learned that I got admission there. She had been telling me how she wanted Tia to go to Oxford, and she went on to mock me for not having the ability to do it. She mocked my capabilities, and I made it my life goal to get into Oxford. However, in all the struggles with my aunt, Tia was a constant support. She even encouraged me to take her mother's word to heart. Never. She was always my companion, but I guess it was all just a lie. My mom asked why she did not stop her mother from stepping on the mud instead of recording the video of how Billy and I littered the mud, which led my aunt to get hurt. Tia didn't say anything, but my aunt also pressed on to this point. My aunt also said that she wasn't the one who sent the stuffed toy to me. She confessed to having no idea about it, and I looked at Tia and went, "It was you, wasn't it?" My aunt looked at her daughter and, well, demanded an answer, which must have irked her so much that she accused her mother of giving me the Piglet as a pet while she was aware of my fear. Trust me, this was just the beginning of the whole revelation. Tia finally revealed her true self to me. She said that she did not care any longer since I was the one who crossed the line by planning to get her mom hurt that day. She said I should not have done it and admitted that she had been holding back. I asked what she meant by that, and then she asked me, "Why did you even return, Anna? Just to flaunt that you're an Oxford graduate? Do you think that you're great or something? There's no one in front of me. I'm still excelling at more things than you could ever do. See, I cracked an interview just a few days ago, and you're no match for me. And you never will be." It all came as a shock to me and everyone else around me. I'd never thought that Tia thought of me that way. I mean, her mother's habits of comparing me with Tia had been really hammered into her head. She liked me as long as I was behind her, as long as I had not accomplished something that she was not able to. She stood by my side, and as soon as I surpassed her, she showed her true colors. She showed how little she cared about me, and the truth was she always took pride when her mom belittled me. When I said out loud what I was thinking, she had the guts to admit that I was actually getting it all right. She said that she was also the one who got the box with the stuffed toy, stickers, and pictures delivered to my house. Are you kidding me? My dad and Uncle Marshall were furious by now, and my dad asked Tia to shut up, while my uncle asked both Tia and my aunt to apologize to me. Tia straight away refused to do it, and while my aunt argued that she had already apologized to me, my uncle said, well, to my aunt that it was her jealousy of me that fed Tia's emotions. And she also turned against me. Well, my uncle asked Tia to repent and work in the stable for the period that we're going to stay here. On the other hand, my dad and uncle asked my aunt to clean up the mud that was there in front of her house, which was obviously littered by Billy and me. I can't say I'm not happy. I'm so satisfied with how things turned out this time, and I want to thank you for all the support and, well, criticism too. However, I could not care less about the criticism than to ignore them. Update number 4. Hey, I'm just back again to say and tell you how I'm doing now. After all the failures in my life, I was able to find my passion, at least, and work for it, and my aunt and cousin have learned their lesson, or at least that's what I would like to think. My uncle warned them that if they harmed me or tried to do anything that would hurt me, then he would not hold back either. I'm so happy that he has my back. He even cut Tia's monthly allowance and asked her to support herself. My aunt has not contacted me or my parents after the incident, as she might be very ashamed. My parents are happy to see that the trouble in my life has ended for now. This is finally my last update, guys. Billy bought me a pet dog. And now I'm taking care of both Jelly and Jimmy. There's no more piglets to give me a panic attack. At least I'm cautious about that. Thanks again, guys. See ya. Top comments from the update. Comment number 1. I'm so stoked to hear that you finally dropped the mic on your aunt and cousin. That revenge was epic. It sounds like they learned their lesson, and I hope that they never treat you that way again.
You deserve to be happy and successful, and I'm proud of you for overcoming all of the challenges you faced. I'm also glad to hear that you're doing well now and that you have a loving family and supportive friends. I wish you all the best in the future. Comment number 2. Well, this was a ride from start to finish. You finally got your revenge on your aunt and cousin. They had it coming. I'm also glad that your uncle had your back. He's a real OG. It sounds like your aunt and cousin are just jealous of your success. They're a bunch of haters, but should not let them get you down. Good luck.
Sally and Tia. Well, it looks like today's story delivered them with a bit of karma, which came in the form of cleaning up the pigsty and the mud. I want to know your thoughts about this story, guys. Today's story had a lot of drama involved with it, a little bit of pettiness mixed in, but either way, I want to know what you thought about it. Here's the question. If you found yourself in OP's position having to deal with your aunt, who was basically just jealous about your achievements, what do you do to handle it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and guys, thank you for joining me on today's story, and if you are new to the channel, the best way to get daily videos is to hit that subscribe button, but don't forget to hit the notification bell as well. That way, YouTube will give your phone or your desktop a little notification that says, hey, Mr. Reddito just uploaded another insane mother-in-law story. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and just remember one thing, it's cool to be kind. Peace.